Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome back.
What day is it for us? It's Wednesday today. But
Wednesday
when
that
this
we're recording.
premieres, it should be Thursday. So happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday or Friday Eve, as I like to say.
How's your week been?
Very stressful, very busy, and very
Mhm.
tiring.
Yeah, I feel
So
that. It's been a
it's going
long
great.
couple days.
Yeah,
Almost to the weekend. Yeah, work stressful as always. Work sucks, I know. But I'm going to Sick New World this weekend in Vegas, which I know you'll
so fun.
appreciate. We're gonna do some mosh pitting with my mom, System of a Down and Corn, Knocked Loose. It should be really fun.
I've been wanting to see System of a Down since high school,
So good.
and I never got there yet.
They'll be
But
back.
yeah, I mean, I really hope one day they do another album. I don't know that they will, just because Serge is a lot different now with his music
Mm-hmm.
than the rest of the three. So who knows? But them still doing the shows every now and then, or at least a couple times a summer. That's still fun.
So fun. I mean, hopefully I don't come to next week's filming with a, a broken nose or a
Or
tooth.
your glasses all broke and sideways.
Yeah, pray for
Yeah,
me. Anyways, we made it to episode 2.
we did. Tonight's focus and theme is the shocker. I think we mentioned that last episode. But these are a list of movies or movie scenes that have shook us and left us wondering, what did we just watch? Is that for real? And basically shocked the audience or gave nightmares.
Yeah, and I do think for how long we've been watching horror, as I'm sure, a lot of the people listening to this, it's sometimes hard nowadays to find movies that shock you or that you're not
Yeah.
guessing what's coming next. So I do think these movies mean a lot more to me than, there's a good horror movie, but then there's something that's unpredictable that completely shocks you, that makes your jaw drop. So this should be a favorite of mine to talk about.
Yeah. Well, do you want to start us off? Do you want me to?
I'll let you do the honors.
All right. So I'm trying to do these in chronological order based on when these movies were released. And so the first movie and scene that I want to talk about is from the absolute classic, The Exorcist from 1973. Now, that movie in itself, when it was released, was making people sick in movie theaters. They were throwing up, they were passing out, they were walking out early just because this movie was incredibly awesome and ahead of its time with the things that they were doing at that time. And for anybody who has never seen The Exorcist, it's about a young teenage girl named Regan who ends up getting possessed by a demon called Pazuzu. And it's about her mom trying to find out how to get through this. And she brings in priests and they do an exorcism on her. And of course, if you haven't seen the movie, please go watch it. It's such a classic. But there's a few scenes in that movie, but the one that I'll just talk about that really kind of freaked me out when I was a kid was when Reagan just sits up and her head spins completely 180 degrees around. And I remember seeing that and I didn't know how to process it at the time because I was a kid. And I'm like, how do you do that? And my mom used to freak me out because she would tell me that, that possession can really happen to you. And so I'm wondering, like, what if I do something bad and I get possessed and then, my head starts spinning around and I start throwing up green stuff. So yeah, I mean, a few different things in that movie kind of freaked me out, especially seeing it as a kid. But my mom continuing to help freak me out by telling me that can really happen.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good parenting trick, I'd say, to all the parents out there.
Yeah. If your kid's misbehaving, just have them watch The Exorcist and then tell them that can really happen to you if you're bad.
Yeah.
You don't behave. Don't go to bed on time. Yeah.
And then the pea soup, of course.
Yeah.
Traumatizing.
But just the way they did everything. I mean, I've watched behind the scenes with that movie, and the movie actually, there was a lot that went on that was crazy during the making of the movie. People died, the set caught fire and completely burned down. So they were dealing with something
Do you believe it was
crazy.
like I feel like we will talk about there's a lot of some movies that have been cursed.
First,
Do you believe it is a cursed movie?
I don't know. There's a lot that went wrong, and
Yeah.
I don't know everything off the top of my head, but I know, like, Bert, the drunk actor, he ended up dying. I think planes got struck by lightning, but I mean,
Did
that
she, like,
always
break
happens.
their hip or something? The mom, I think, broke I
I
think
don't know.
she broke something too.
I don't know. Yeah, just crazy stuff happened when they were filming that. So I mean, I don't know, but there's other movies. Yeah, I mean, we can make an entire episode out of movies that were cursed, and some of them aren't even horror movies. Like the one was about that Eskimo where they buried the script.
What?
It was supposed to be first played by maybe John Candy and then by like Chris Farley and all the actors who were supposed to play this Eskimo. It was supposed to be a comedy, but they kept dying when they
Okay,
signed on for the movie.
I've never heard of that.
It could be all made up. I don't know. But
I believe it. I believe in Chris movies,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
will ask, do you believe in possession? Last question.
Yeah, because apparently there have been real, or at least they were presented that way, to be real
Mhm,
live occurrences of possession throughout our history
mhm.
that a lot of these movies have been based off of.
Yeah,
And, I've read books
yeah.
about different things, haunted places that we go to. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's haven't seen it, not sure I really want to, but yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, I'd be cool with, like, not seeing that in real life. I like watching it, but I don't know about seeing it. But I know, and we mentioned this in the first episode, that we're ghost hunters. We're part of, a paranormal team.
Yeah.
And anyone I tell that to is like, "Aren't you scared you're gonna get possessed?" But I feel like we've done so much at this point for so many years where it's like, "Mm,
You have to be, in my opinion, you have to be strong-minded and strong-willed
agree."
to not allow that to happen to you. So, yeah, a young teenage girl would be easy prey, especially when she's playing around with a Ouija board.
That'll
So,
do it.
why don't you take us into your first movie?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have seen this one, Barbarian, which came out in 2022. Pretty recent.
Yeah.
This one I loved. One, I'm just a huge Justin Long fan. He's one of the kings of horror. So as soon as I saw his name attached to it, I was like, of course. And then Bill Skarsgård,
Yeah.
heartthrob. Don't tell anyone I said that. But I was like, oh, this should be good. It looks interesting. It looks different. I like kind of like a, I don't know, spooky house late at night, like being alone. Who knows what's gonna happen? But this movie, and it completely shocked me, and the way they did it was so well done, is
Mhm.
because these days trailers will just give every single thing away, and it's
Exactly
like,
my
I
point, I was
watched the
thinking.
movie already, so what's the point? Where's the shock value? But the trailer that they did, that they put out and promoted, was not what the movie was, which is
Yeah.
so smart. Zach Krieger. Is that how you say his last name? Krieger or Krieger?
I don't know, I
I
would
should
have to
probably know.
do a little search here.
Yeah, I'm bad with pronunciations, but he directed it, and it's absolutely amazing.
You
So
got it.
the
Krager. Yeah.
Kreger, yeah. The halfway point, and I don't even know if it's probably about halfway, but you think it's going one way. It's such a misdirection where they're leading the audience down a very specific path to have very specific thoughts, and then when Bill Skarsgård goes into the basement and is luring her there, completely turns it on its side, and that scene, spoiler alert, if you have not seen it, when he just gets his head bashed into the wall, rarely ever does my jaw drop, but this one made my
Yeah.
jaw drop, and then the next scene was such a contrast, like, happy-go-lucky sunny day in Malibu, driving down the street, it was just
Yep.
perfection.
Yeah. Everything you just said, I agreed with, because as you started talking, I thought of the trailer first,
Mhm,
and I was like, the trailer, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember the character names, but the woman who shows up at the house and wants to stay because they double booked it, she's sleeping in the bed with the door open and something runs by the door. You
mhm.
could like hear the footsteps and everything. So I'm like, that's kind of cool, in the dark. And then yeah, once they get to the basement and they find out what's really going on down there, complete 180. I was also uh taken back by just how different this movie was than what I originally thought it was going to be, but still turned out awesome. I loved it.
So good. Also, at the end, one little Easter egg that I loved was, yeah, spoiler alert if you're this far in and haven't seen it, when Justin Long dies at the end because the mama monster or whatever gouges out his eyes, and Jeepers Creepers is probably one of my top 3 most favorite movies, and that's how it ends, is Justin Long has his eyes cut out and just Jeepers Creepers. So I thought it was such a great, call to that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
Would you like to do our mutual
I was just gonna say that. And I think this is if you see this episode title, "What's the most shocking horror movie?" This is probably number 1 on most people's list, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess I'll admit, I did a quick search just to see how close our scenes and movies were to what Google or AI would say, and
Mm,
this was on the search.
yeah, figured.
And before I even looked it up, I mean, when we were putting together our own ideas, we both agreed. So, the movie Hereditary, I'm sure those of you who already seen the movie already know what we're talking about. And it's the scene where the brother, again, I don't know character names, but the brother takes his sister to a house party. Who knows why? But she ends up eating cake that has nuts in it, and she's allergic to nuts. So the brother kind of realizes that she's having an allergic reaction, and he gets her to the car and they speed away, and they are speeding down the road. And was it that he wasn't paying attention? Remind me.
Yeah, she had her head out the window,
Trying to breathe because
breathe to get air.
her throat was closing. That's what
Mhm.
happens. And all of a sudden,
Unfortunately, appears a pole.
and she gets decapitated by a telephone pole. And you're just like, what? And her head rolls onto the ground, and her brother is completely in shock, as the audience is. And he ends up, and I get this because it's shock,
Mhm.
he ends up going home and I think just goes to bed, right?
Yeah.
And then the next morning, the mom finds the dead body without the head because he didn't go back and pick it up, finds her daughter's body just in the car, and you hear her off screen screaming and
Mhm.
flipping out. And the brother's just still in shock.
That was I remember watching it in theaters. And again, A24, I'm a 24 member, anything they do, I watch. But I remember being in the theaters and that happened, and again, this was a moment where I'm not even exaggerating, for at least 5 minutes, my jaw was just dropped, and I was like, "Look, that just happened." And, I mean, the mo Toni Collette is absolutely insane in that movie, so I think she should have won an award
She's
for it,
good in everything.
quite honest. Yeah, I mean, she's superstar, but oh my gosh, that scene was so iconic, and seeing it on the big screen, I think made it just so much larger and shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel too with this movie, people either go one way or the other. Some people love it,
Mhm.
and then some people are like, "Ah, this movie was trash. It wasn't scary at all."
But I feel like people don't, and not to be like, cerebral about it and stuff, but I feel like some people will just, some people are more, and this isn't a hate because I do love Jason Blum, but some people are more jump scare people, scary.
Yeah, not
There
me.
are different kinds of scaries. This is, family trauma, generational trauma, which is really scary because it affects us all. And just because it doesn't have jump scares doesn't mean it's scary. Like unsettling, it's unsettling. And that's another version of it being scary.
Yeah. And another scene I really loved what they did is after the grandmother passes away and um what's her name? Tony? Yeah.
Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm terrible.
She walks into the one room and you can kind of see an outline of the old woman, the grandmother, in the dark, just standing there staring at her.
Mhm.
But, when she turns on the lights and stuff, she's not there. I just thought that scene was really well done too. But yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person, I said this last episode, I don't really appreciate jump scares because I think it's a cheap way to try and get a reaction out of somebody. I like something that's more psychological
Mhm.
and, really try to mess with your head rather than just throw jump scares at you the whole movie, and
Yeah.
that's all the movie is jump scares.
I mean, it has a time and place. It's fun,
Yeah,
but if you're looking for something that really stays with you, then it's gonna be more of the psychological ones, and some people
yeah,
just don't like jump scares, too much on the heart rate, too much on the adrenaline, so they prefer psychological too.
yeah, exactly, that'd
Yeah,
be me. I don't
yeah. Hmm.
care
I
for
can I
those.
can dabble in a little bit of everything, it depends on the mood, I think.
Yeah,
The time of the week, day of the week, but yeah, we love
agreed.
Hereditary, shout out. I'll go into another, this is probably an offshoot that I'm gonna imagine a lot of people haven't seen or even heard of. I really like, and I think you enjoy these too, the kind of smaller, independent films. I hate to call them BC because I think, these are really good movies.
Yeah.
But kind of unknown. This one is Hosts, so I'm gonna read you a little bit about it. It's an incredibly small snippet, but it's a 2020 British supernatural horror film. And its plot centers on a Christmas dinner that spirals into havoc and bloodshed. So this one in particular, I don't want to spoil for you because I want your reaction to it. I'm gonna say
I think I've seen this one.
you.
I think, but there's like 3 movies I have in mind that all focus around dinner.
Okay, I'll give you a little setup. So it starts at a table, and the mom is giving news about she has an illness that is terminal. And she's talking about her illness, and I believe she says that she's getting cured, she's in remission. And at that point is when something happens. Does that ring a bell?
Maybe I haven't
I
seen.
feel like you would know it because
Yeah.
I was watching this, oh god, I wanna say a couple years ago, and I just found it randomly. I was watching it probably 3, PM, lights on, whatever, I'll just throw something on,
Yeah.
and, it starts where they're at the table, it's just conversation, blah, 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 and I'm like, "Okay," just taking it in, and then when this scene happens, okay, again, a jaw-dropping moment, and this does not happen often.
Yeah.
My jaw was just, like, dropped, brows raised, immediately sat up, "What just happened?" So, at that point, I, was locked in for the rest of the movie. Um, I I think that was probably the high point of the movie, I will say, but it was an original concept, and it was different from anything that I had watched recently at that time.
Yeah.
But it's a gory scene, I will say that. So I do wanna get your take on this one, maybe next week, and I
Yeah.
can get your little review at the beginning of the episode. But
So
please,
this
in the comments, anyone who's listening to this, I would love to know if you liked it and were just as shocked as I was because I love gore, and gore, doesn't really shock me, but I just think, again, there was a contrast in the moment to what was happening and then to the gore, similar to how Barbarian bait and switched you,
Yeah.
that I thought was so good.
Yeah, I looked up a few pictures here. This is I don't think this is what I was thinking about,
Okay, good.
but I will let you know when I remember the movie that I was thinking about
Yeah, because
that
now
it
I'm curious.
also involves a dinner, but
Okay, we love a family dinner. And this one is also 89 minutes, which I am a huge fan of short horror movies, bring back short horror movies. I think
yeah,
that's the perfect amount of time.
agreed.
Cool. You're up next.
So I'm moving on to a movie from 1982 called Entity, or The
Mm.
Entity, if you want to get specific. Have you seen this movie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I saw this as a kid because I saw it on your list and I can't say I remember it all too well.
So it's a psychological horror film based on a real case from 1974. I won't mention the name, but it follows a woman, a single mother who's terrorized and assaulted by an invisible poltergeist. And the reason I put this on here was because I've seen this for the first time couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3. But what really threw me off was like, I don't know that this woman did anything. You watch The Exorcist, Reagan's playing with a Ouija board. This woman's just living her life. I think the first time she gets assaulted, she's just at her like little makeup station in her bedroom getting ready for bed. You can and the reason I have this on here is because of the music, like the soundtrack and the composer who made the music for this movie did a really, really good job. So you can kind of hear it building up to something happening. But when it happens, you're just like, whoa. Because she like gets thrown across the room and stuff. And then this really interesting, I don't even know if it's a song. Do you want to call it a song? But it's just like fits the scene and just makes it that much more shocking and like, wow, okay, we're just kind of jumping right into this. And if I remember correctly, it happens within like the first couple minutes of the movie. Like it's 100% full go. And, I added that just because, it's, you're not expecting it. You can kind of feel something coming with the music. And then like almost every time that these instances happen to this woman, you're kind of caught off guard. It's almost like a jump scare, but it's the music for me that also like goes with these scenes that makes them just crazy. Like, wow. But yeah, I mean, that was an older movie from the 80s that I came across a couple years ago. And maybe I saw it when I was a kid. I don't know if my babysitter would have allowed that, but yeah, I added that to my list just because I was definitely surprised and caught off guard about what was going on. So,
I'll have to rewatch that. I mean, I love something happening right at the beginning,
yeah,
because again, it's they're trying to throw the viewer. Usually there's some setup and you get used to the characters and da da da, but to give it to you
yeah,
right off the bat is nice sometimes.
yes, yeah. From what I remember, it kind of just jumps right in, and you're
Mm,
just like, whoa. Like
yeah,
you're not gonna give any what do they call it? Character.
development.
Yeah, like you're not gonna tell us what's going on. I mean, I think this woman just goes home and her kids are there in the house, and
Mm.
then bam, and then I don't believe they ever give an explanation as to why this just started happening out of nowhere.
Which I think is, I'm sure it's what they intended as part of the scary part, that this
Yeah,
is relatable because, again, she didn't do anything wrong, she didn't do anything sketchy. It could happen out of the blue, just
yeah,
like you, the viewer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't inviting anything in, but
Mhm, mhm.
things just pop off right immediately from what I remember.
Yeah. Well, we can stick with the ages, and I know we've both talked about this movie
This
before.
is a classic.
1983 American slasher film Sleepaway Camp, which,
Classic.
with the name, as you can imagine, focuses on serial killings which occur at a summer camp for teenagers. A very 80s plot, which, in my opinion, never gets old. It's always fun, but Sleepaway Camp in particular had a slightly different take on it, than like a Friday 13th. Still same, same themes and things like that. Don't have sex and there's boobs and stuff like that. But this, if you've seen it, I definitely recommend. We both love this movie. It's become a cult classic.
Yeah. It's just one of those movies though that I can watch all the time.
100%. It's
Like,
a
it's
great
just
October
fun.
movie.
Yeah, it's fun. There's crazy stuff that
Mhm,
happens all the time. The kills are almost comical at certain points.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, nothing beats the surprise at the end.
Yeah, surprise at the end.
Big
That
deal.
So I watched it as a kid, and then I watched it maybe a couple years ago as an adult because I kinda like seeing if the movies hold up to I've seen so many horror movies now. Are they still scary? Do they still freak me out? Like The Exorcist, I did watch recently. It did give me nightmares. Sleepaway Camp still holds up 100%. It's a great watch. It's never gonna get old, but that ending scene, even as an adult, so eerie and creepy, it will stay with you for the rest of the night, if not the day after, no matter how many times you watch it.
And as the scene happens, there's that again, I'm always like a big musical type of
Mhm.
person. Like if you have the right music to go with a scene, that like can help raise the level of the bar for that scene tremendously. And it's like one of those shocking sounds that happens when the big reveal happens. And it immediately cuts into a really cool like 80s horror movie theme song at the end, which I mean, I'm a sucker for, but
Yeah. Gotta love the synths.
yeah, I think anybody who's ever seen this movie would definitely consider the ending something they were not expecting.
Not me.
Nope, I did not put two and two together
Nope.
throughout the entire movie. But yeah, that definitely ends up on this list. One thing I found interesting though is the female actress Felissa Rose. She really wants to do a remake of Sleepaway Camp, but she wants to play the crazy aunt.
Mhm.
So who knows if that'll happen, but
I just don't I have such a hard time with remake, and this is a topic for another day, but
yeah.
even if the original people are involved, I have such a hard time with remakes because something about the older movies, and I think it has a lot to do with the music, the filming style, a lot of different factors where it's really, really hard to capture the essence that they gave.
Yeah.
And I think it also comes down to at that time, this was so different. This was revolutionary. This has never happened. Like Exorcist, people got sick. These kind of movies, be it this was the 80s and, this kind of theme was around, it still was newer to people and newer to the decade or whichever. And so I think just being a different time and now horror's evolved so much, I just don't it's really hard to capture that.
CGI.
I don't know if they would capture the same essence of the original.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a practical effects guy. I hate CGI.
Yes, the effect.
Sometimes it's so bad in movies.
Yeah,
So that's for me a lot. What ruins remakes a lot is, you
agree.
remember these funny cut scenes to these dummies, these mannequins or whatever they did with effects back then,
Mhm.
blood shooting out everywhere. And now you just have CGI. It looks so fake. So, but yeah, definitely a movie. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it if you're a horror movie fan. If
Mhm.
you are a horror movie fan, good chance you have seen it. That takes us over to a movie from 2011. This is, I guess, not much of a well-known movie, and it's more of like almost a found footage movie, and it's called Megan is Missing.
Yeah, great call.
And for those who have seen this movie, I'm sure you can already guess what the shocking scene is. There's a few, but for those who haven't seen it, it's about and it's kind of like a found footage. These teenage girls are filming it on their phones and stuff, and it's about a teenager who mysteriously disappears without a trace after meeting someone online, and you end up finding out. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but her friend. Her best friend goes out searching for her, kind of goes to the place where she was last seen, goes to like the place where they used to hang out like secretly. And it's a really cool, it was done really cool because when they're at that place where they would hang out, kind of like their private place that nobody knew about, you kind of see somebody in the background, which is, that's the person who ended up taking Megan. But he starts going after her friend too and kind of lures her in with the same tricks and things that he did with Megan. So eventually he takes her prisoner and he agrees to finally let her see Megan if she agrees to get in this barrel. And I don't know, should I spoil this or not?
I mean, spoiler alert. Yes, spoiler.
Okay, well, he opens the barrel, and for a second, you see Megan's decomposing body in the barrel. And it's just like so freaky because like her face is like just decomposing and her eyes and stuff. You realize she's been in there for, I don't know, a couple days, weeks. And he forces her friend into that same barrel with this decaying body. So you can
Yeah.
only imagine how bad it smelled in there. So he
I
locked.
think that's the least of her worries.
I know, but, like, that's what went through my head. I'm like, "Can you imagine the smell in this barrel right now?" Plus, she's, like, gooey from
Right,
decomposing, like, you're just having the worst day of your life in this barrel, and your best friend's dead. And
right. Yeah.
so, yeah, that was my shock scene when I saw that Megan was in the barrel and was decomposing, just how they had that, I was like, "Whoa." And then forcing her in the barrel to
Even
bury her alive, that was a definitely a shock.
yeah.
And, uh, I think the, director, creative marketing was saying, "Oh, you should never watch this movie by yourself." Creative marketing, but, I mean, it's a good movie. It's not scary by any means, it's just that'll definitely catch you
True.
off guard at the end. So, yeah, I could not have that on this list, you know what I mean? Could not have this on this list, so
Did you see that? I don't know if this is true. I feel like I saw that they were trying to remake it,
I didn't.
and that could be an internet rumor, but I swear I saw that on Instagram or something. Again, not a movie that needs to be remade. It's not
Right. And I like how it was filmed too because,
yeah.
sometimes found footage and it's not found footage, it's like cell phone footage,
Mhm.
doesn't really hold up well, but this did. I liked the movie overall, but yeah, the ending really caught me off guard.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those movies where I feel like I don't need to watch it again. It definitely is impactful and you're like it makes you feel gross at the end and sad, and you're like, "Okay, well, got the point across, and I'm good on this one."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. There are some movies like that where you're just
there
like,
are.
don't need to see that one again." But
And, that's a perfect segue into my next one that you told me you've not seen, but it is part of the Masters of Horror series. So, the Masters of Horror, and I hope I'm not butchering this, but it was a series on HBO of movies that got released. So I don't know if they got released all at once or if it was kind of one at a time. I think it was one at a time, almost like, mini TV episodes. And each movie was a different iconic horror director who did it.
mm,
So they are original, they weren't connected or anything. I think the most famous one is probably Cigarette Burns, which is John Carpenter, and that one, so good. It freaked me out so bad. I found out about Masters of Horror because I think my parents were watching it, and I came into the room to get a glass of water because they were in the living room. And then Cigarette Burns, I see this like real creepy angel, and I was like, oh my God, what is that? But that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about a different Masters of Horror. Is called Imprint. So Imprint is the 13th episode of the first season of Masters of Horror. It's directed by Takashi Miike. The episode was scheduled to premiere January 27th, 2006, but maybe it was Showtime. Oops. But it was shelved by Showtime over concerns about its graphic and disturbing content. It was later released on DVD in September of that year. So it was so disturbing that they couldn't air it. And this one has probably every trigger warning you could put on a movie. It's not I saw it once when I was younger, and then I watched it a couple years ago recently.
yeah.
Don't think I need to watch it again in my life.
Well, now this is making me have to watch it
No,
because
you
I
have to watch it.
I have not seen this.
It's pretty graphic. It is extremely graphic. Again, there are a lot of trigger warnings on it. There's one scene in particular that I'll mention that I feel like sometimes I see on social media still images of, so I'm not sure if you've seen them, but it's a woman who's strung up and bound, and then these pins are shoved underneath her fingernails. Really graphic, really close up, and fingernails and in Black Swan when the hangnail, like anything fingers freaks me out.
Yeah.
Shoving pins underneath fingernails is so disgusting to me. I don't ever need to see that again, but that's just one of the countless scenes of torture. I don't wanna give too much away because you haven't seen it, but I I feel like maybe a lot of people haven't seen it, I'm not sure, so I don't wanna say too much, but again, if you just want something to shock you, that is a movie that will shock you. My
Yeah.
friend, Layla, she's not into horror at all, and somehow she's like, "I saw this one horror movie that was just the most gross thing I could have ever seen. It was so traumatizing, so disturbing." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is it? I have to see it." And then she was like, "It was Imprint." So, to the regular horror movie watcher, it's probably not something I would recommend,
Yeah.
but if you wanna get a little dark, then that's for you.
Well, I have to watch it at least
You have
once.
to watch it, yeah.
Have
I
to.
would love to know your thoughts. And I mean, I hope you don't come back and you're like, "That was weak, and I don't know what you're talking
Oh.
about," because that would be concerning.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah.
from what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. We'll have to talk about our opinions after this episode. Alright.
Moving on to the next, we don't have too many left here, but I feel like this is another one we both agreed on, and that is Sinister
Ooh,
and the different kill scenes from
yes.
Sinister. This turns up on a lot of like scariest movies of all time lists. And for me, again, I wasn't really scared of the movie, but like when these kill scenes were happening, I was like, whoa. Again, I mean, there's not much you could say. It's like they freak you out, they catch you off guard. But this movie, for those who haven't watched, is about a crime writer, a true crime writer. He has not really had a hit in a couple years, so he becomes desperate and he ends up moving into a house where an entire family was murdered, except for one family member who is still missing. And so, as you know, they're settling in and everything. He finds these, like the old movie films, they're round, you put them set it up on the big player, you have to display it on like a big screen. I don't know
Okay.
what they're called, but he finds a bunch of different videos. And I want to say the first one he plays is of the backyard of this house where he's living. And there's this big tree. And the family, the entire family, except that one person, one of the kids, is tied up with ropes around their neck. And I think they had something over their heads as well. But then off screen, somebody does something and like it breaks one of the branches, a heavy branch, and all of them just lift up and they're hanging there like struggling. And you're like, wow, this is shocking. And I think, well, there, like I said, there's a few different videos of different people. He watches all these videos. He takes one every night, gets a big bottle of booze and watches one of these videos. And, one of them was people tied to these beach chairs and they all get pushed into a pool. And so they drown. But the one for me that really caught me off guard was the lawnmower.
Yes. Yes. I was hoping.
It's nighttime and there's like just a little light showing the front of this lawnmower and you see the lawnmower going around and you're like, where's this going? Like, are they cutting the grass? All of a sudden, a head is in the scene, and this lawnmower runs over this person's head. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, the writer, the director, they did an awesome job
So good.
with all of these creative kills, and not just that they're kills, but like they're psychologically disturbing of how they present them to you. So, props to them for doing this movie the way that they did. And I see why it shows up on people's like top 10, top 5 scariest films. So, I mean, I love this film, but it's those videos of those murders which really made me like this film. It's really done very well. So,
Yeah, and I think with the videos, and this isn't a found footage movie, it's a little bit of found footage, which I think helps it because sometimes the issue, I love found footage so much, but sometimes the issue with found footage is they will shake the camera too much at the scene where people are being killed or
yeah,
at the best part and you can't really see. I know that's kind of sick to say, but let me see the action, And with
yeah, it's a horror
Sinister,
movie.
it's on, it's playing the video, but it's not holding back. It's just giving you exactly what it is. And I think
Yeah,
when it first came out, that was like, whoa, this is intense.
right.
And I will say, I think the only movies that have given me nightmares ever were, you're gonna hate it, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's
Freddy's
Dead,
dead.
the first one, when I was a kid.
Wonderful.
Sinister, and The Exorcist, I think are the only ones off the top of my head that have ever given me nightmares, and
Yeah.
just the first Sinister, it's so well done.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say about that. If you haven't watched it, you should just get ready for some crazy kill scenes.
Yeah, yeah, we love a creative kill here. Okay, yeah, so we don't have
Oh.
teams anymore. Cabin Fever is my next one, which 2002. I think I could do a lot more body horror. I feel like that's a whole nother episode specifically for body horror because body
Yeah,
horror itself is shocking, and this one and the next one are body horrors that I'm going to talk about. But Cabin Fever, I'm going to give you a little snippet, is 2002 American dark comedy body horror film, the famous Eli Roth, who everyone knows and loves. So it follows a group of college students who rent a cabin in the woods where they unwittingly come in contact with an unknown flesh-eating disease, which is always fun. The cabin setting, I think, is one of my favorites for a horror
yeah.
movie, so already love it. But the scene in particular that I want to talk about is the shaving scene. Have you seen Cabin Fever?
Yes, I've seen that a few different times, and I'll I'll let you go first because I did want to bring up something that does make me upset about not well, you'll see.
Okay, okay.
I'll let you go.
Let's get into it. So the scene is the shaving scene, and I am a person who does shave my legs, so it made it more disturbing. The woman is in a bathtub, and you can see she has an active infection on her back, and it's a long scene, so you can see she's shaving her legs, and at a certain point, she starts shaving, and the skin comes off, and it's releasing this like nasty flesh eated muscle tissue, and she keeps shaving and it's so gross. Every time
Mhm.
I'm not even lying when I say every time I shave my legs, I think about my skin coming off because of cabin fever.
Yeah.
Um, and it is I like it. I think it's such a fun movie. It's gross. It's a body horror, so if you're, you know, icked out easily, don't watch it, but it is really fun. I think it is a cult classic, very iconic still to this day. But yeah, yuck.
Yeah. Well, I don't shave my legs, but that still bothered me,
Yeah.
that scene, because yeah, I mean, like, it'd be the same thing as if someone was getting like scalped. You know,
Oof.
you're tearing skin and stuff, and
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I feel you. What I was getting at was, do you know that they remade this movie already?
I do. I did.
Why?
I don't
Why?
again, I have such I could go on and on about this topic. I have such beef with some of these remakes.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with it.
and it's not like this was from the '80s. Like,
No.
this was from 2002. You said, right? And
Yeah.
they already remade it like 15 years later. There's no reason for that,
Yeah.
in my
I
opinion.
I can't stand it. And I will say for me, one of the golden ages, because I know, these 90s, of course, had their great time, but the 2000s was so good for horror.
Yeah.
And to see these things getting remade, I'm just like, Why? It's
Already.
so
Already.
fine
Yeah.
how it is." Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think actually when I was looking this up, I didn't know this, but I was on Reddit, and it says he explained that he experienced something similar when he was growing up when he had some sort of flesh-eating bacteria. So
Yeah.
this comes from true inspiration. He said he tried to shave but had some skin peel off along with it,
Yeah.
which gave him inspiration for the movie, which makes it even more gross, but that could happen.
Yeah, and, I think you would agree with me, like, cabin settings are really cool.
A plus.
Yeah, and I would love if this cabin was still available to go and do, like, a movie filming location type video. So
Yeah.
we have to look up where they filmed this, and, my top of the bucket list would be to go to where they filmed the original Evil Dead.
100%.
Cabin's not there, burned down, but still, just to be there, I think part of the fireplace is there. There's the hole in the ground that they used as the fake basement. But yeah, I mean, something about cabin horror movies, I love. I don't think I'll ever not watch one just because I love those types of movies, out in the woods type atmospheres. We have to look up where they filmed the original, not the remake, but the original, and see if it's like somewhere public that we can go and do like a movie filming location if we're near it,
Yeah.
out on one of
I mean,
our
a little
paranormal trips.
breaking and entering. That's a joke for legal reasons, but that would be so fun. I would
Yeah,
do yeah. Okay, how many more do you have on your list?
I'm on my last one.
Okay, I have one more, and then I have an honorable mention.
Got it. So my last one here is somewhat of a newer movie, came out in 2022, and it's called The Coffee Table. And wow, this was another one that really caught me off guard. And I must not have watched the trailer very well, or they did not indicate in the trailer at all what was going to happen. But I guess it's pitched as a comedy horror film. And
That's crazy.
yeah, I wasn't laughing. I
Yeah.
was just like, holy hell. It's about a married couple. I guess they're going through some stuff, and they decide to he decides, if I remember correctly, the husband really wants this coffee table, and it ends up being cursed. So he ends up buying it, I think, against his wife's wish. And so they bring it home, and at one point he's alone with this newborn baby. And the camera's like down the hallway, maybe looking into the living room or something. But the father and this baby, they're off camera, and you just hear the glass break and something crazy happened. And the father is like in shock. And, long story short, you end up finding out that the table decapitated the child, the newborn baby,
Yeah.
and the head, I believe, rolled under a chair. And so I guess I'm still not finding where the comedy is, but this father is in complete shock. He's trying to clean up all this blood and hide the baby and stuff. And then there's people coming to their apartment, and he's like having to make up stories and, kind of keep people away from like realizing what happened, but I was not prepared for that part. So yeah, like I said, either in the trailer they did a really good job of hiding that, or I just wasn't paying attention.
I
But
don't even think I watched the trailer. I feel like I saw someone just say, "Don't look it up, just watch it," and I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
whatever." Yeah, this is a great one because I know it got high praise, but it's not, known probably to most people unless you're looking.
right.
But my gosh, this is a case where you don't wanna see the gore, you don't wanna see that happen, but they do such a good job of, I guess, putting you there without you seeing it.
Yeah.
And my favorite kind of horror movies is the tension, how good they just build and build and
Oh
build
yeah.
tension, and by the end of it, you're on the edge of your seat. Someone's gonna find it. There's a dog in the apartment, and the head is still under the chair.
Right.
It's it was great, I loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to say I loved it, but it was well done.
And you talk about tension. So
Mhm.
the father trying, like I was saying, having to make up stories to keep the wife and other people away from realizing what happened. And that really does build up tension because, he's telling his wife, don't go in the bedroom. He's in there. He's in there sleeping. He's taking a nap. Don't go in and disturb him. And you're just like, what is going to happen here? Like, is she going to go in the bedroom and see a baby's body without a missing head? Like, how's this going to play out? But yeah, I mean, eventually the cat comes out of the bag, but that scene itself was just, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Caught me off
crazy.
guard, needless to say.
No words for that scene, that was
Yeah.
I think it was just the silence too after it happening where you really feel the impact of what just happened, so they did a great job with that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, The Coffee Table. Watch it. I mean, we already spoiled it, so I hope you watched it. Titane is my last one, another body horror. And this is a body horror psychological film, so it's a French film from 2021, so it is pretty recent. I will give you a quick little snippet. There's a lot of scenes in here that I could say and tell you, but Alexia, she was injured in a car crash as a child, so she has a titanium plate fitted in her head. So when she's an adult, she becomes a murderous car model. She has an erotic fascination with automobiles. So that leads to the scene. Again, there are so many scenes in here that I could say, but just the first scene off the bat, it leads to
Yep.
a bizarre sexual encounter with an automobile that sets off an increasingly outlandish set of events. So essentially, she has sex with a car, um, and it is very cinematic. This is a good movie. It's a good body horror. It's really weird in the best ways. The music, costume, acting, the cinematography, it's all really good, but that threw me off guard because
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a scene where a woman has sex with a car.
I haven't seen that yet. No.
Yeah, so I would recommend. I know a few people who have seen it who I talk about body horrors with, and they really enjoyed it. Unlike anything you've seen before, I'm sure. I mean, the only other one I could kind of say is Crimes of the Future is a very different body horror as well. But yeah, Titane, really great. I think it won a bunch of awards too.
Awesome. That's another one I have to watch because I haven't seen it. So
Yeah, that's it's an adventure. It's a journey for sure.
yeah.
And it will change you, probably. The last one I wanna say, and this is one where I don't wanna say anything about it. I'm just gonna give you the name, and this one should cleanse your palate if you are excuse me, if you're watching a lot of these movies we just named. Pretty heavy stuff. Decapitated baby, skin ripping off while shaving, decapitated teenager. So pretty heavy. This one should cleanse your palate. Basically, it kind of happened similar to how I was introduced to the coffee table. Is I saw someone just say, "Oh, watch this. Don't look it up. Just watch it." It was on HBO. When did it come out? 2022. So, oh my god, I was gonna say last year. It's 2026. That was
Yeah.
4 years ago. Yeah, so 2022, Christmas time, you know how everyone has the Yule Log fireplace that you could leave on your
Wow.
TV to make it, cute and cozy. This one is that. So you press play. I hope it's still on HBO if you look it up. If not, I'm sure you can find it somewhere else. It's made by Adult Swim. So Adult Swim Yule Log. You play it just let it play. It's gonna be a Yule Log for probably 5 to 10 minutes. Crackling fire log. And then you'll start to see shift. And you will go on a very fun journey that I can guarantee you have not been on before.
And what's this called?
It's Adult Swim Log. Just I don't whoever's listening, do not look it up. Just go watch it right now. It's fun. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking note of all these movies I need to watch that you've brought up that I just haven't seen. So shame on me. But
It's a good palate cleanser. So if you watch a bunch of horror movies before you go to bed, if you need something that's not a SpongeBob, put on Yule Log if you still want to stick with the horror theme, but you don't want to get nightmares. Although I could say this could give you nightmares depending on how active your brain is, but I enjoyed it.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our list.
Yeah. That was a great I think.
Yeah. Definitely both of us, I think, a good list of movies that definitely could qualify to be shockers.
Oh,
But
sure.
as always, if any of you all have any movies you think we missed, let us know. Feel free to also comment on any of the movies we talked about. But as we said last week, we love talking about horror movies. So, we'll talk about anything related to horror movies. So please, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, give us the recommendations. Let us know your thoughts. Again, this is a friends talking about horror movies type of conversation.
Right.
So the more recommendations you give us and we give you, just going to make everyone happier. So thanks for listening to episode 2. Since we're at the end, I know we had talked about movie snacks last time, but at the end of this one, what horror movie do you have on your list for this weekend, or what are you excited for the next?
So I've started Undertone. And a little less than an hour into that, but that's becoming interesting because it also involves podcasters who talk about like paranormal and just videos that people send to them that one of them is a debunker, the other one's a believer. So it's very interesting. But um, I'm enjoying how close to the topics that we talk about. But yeah, I mean, it's so far it's so good. I know it has mixed reviews, but so I plan to finish that and really want to start getting into some of these I haven't seen yet from your list. And I mean, honestly, it's not that I plan too far ahead. It's I go through my different streaming sites and I'm like, that's the one I'm in the mood for tonight. So, but yeah, Undertone right now is what I'm watching. So I'll let you know next week what I think of that. What are you planning to watch?
I also need to watch Undertone. I have heard mixed things. Some love it, some don't.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy that it's very relevant to our lives right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a slow burn or not, but if it is, I do enjoy a slow burn. So I hope I like it. The other one that I have been excited about this movie for, I don't know if it's been talked about for the last year, but for as long as it's been, brought up that it's happening is Hokum. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't disappoint me, but it looks so good. It's from the creator of Oddity, I believe that's correct, which
It's a good
I like
movie.
that one on Shudder, yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was good. But Adam Scott's in it. Love Adam Scott. And it looks weird. I really like movies that just look weird. Some of the still images, really creepy faces that I've been seeing on social media are getting me excited for it. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful that one's good. And then Backrooms, of course.
Yeah.
When does that come out? I think it's soon. Let's look at it.
Why do I feel yeah, that one might be like more summer, but I think there are a lot of really good movies coming out between April and May, the rest of April and then May. So
Yeah,
we are going to be busy.
I'm excited. Backrooms comes out May, I believe.
Um,
So that's right around the corner. A lot of good horror movies to talk about, like you said. So we'll kind of go between, classics, oldies, middle of the ground, and then newer movies as well.
mm,
But I feel like that wraps up episode 2. That was great. I'm excited to go watch some horror movies after this.
yeah. Don't forget to comment. Let us know what you like. We're always open to ideas, even if it's just an idea of a topic to talk about one week. So, yeah, happy Thursday, I think, is when we'll release this. Again, happy Thursday.
And,
And we'll talk to you next.
yay, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all the buttons that you see. Movies should be below in some type of description so you can watch them all. And yeah, chat us. Send us some movies to watch. Thanks, guys.
Bye.